Oh, welcome to Duke Nukem 3D World Tour, the new Duke, well, there's a re-release of the classic Duke Nukem 3D, which itself is third Duke Nukem game, but nobody remembers the first two, which were side-scrolling platformers. But let's just get started. LA meant down. Right from the Hollywood Holocaust, and down I'm good.
I'm good.
So, something a bit...
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride.
So, a little bit of a history lesson. Wolfenstein 3D, the first 3D action shooter, came out May 1992. Doom came out December 1993. And the first game using build engine, which is to say Duke Nukem 3D uses build engine, came out April 95, and Duke came out then in April 96. First build game came out actually, it was October 1995, and Duke came out April 96. A couple of months from that, first fully 3D shooter Quake by id Software came along. So build engine didn't have much of prominence time, but let's just play some Duke Nukem 3D in modern form. Let's see, I can jump, I can crouch, I can look around, I can move. I can switch between weapons. And Duke 3D was a massive, you could say, success and change over the first Duke, what I say, the first two Duke Nukem games, because yeah, because in first Duke Nukem game, well, don't know the plot, but in the second Duke Nukem game, oh yeah, that's the button. First Duke Nukem game, we don't know the plot, but in second one Duke Nukem was captured by aliens, and then he just escapes from them and makes them all die. Alright, so that's the...
Come get some.
But yeah, but the third Duke Nukem game was just a complete massive overhaul for the whole game. They just added so much. They got a Duke got voice acting. Oh yeah, I can now run. And well, Duke got voice acting from the nowadays infamous from that role, John St. John. Generally you can say that the 3D shooters haven't been the same after this game came into existence. So yeah, even though it is not as, you could say, groundbreaking as id Software's titles, it's still very important 3D shooter. And I do say that, oh yeah, I guess this difficulty spawns more enemies. So I think I'm gonna have to start over again in the difficulty, which does not respawn enemies. I do admit that the difficulty level is a bit steeper than I remember this being, or then I'm just quite sucky at Duke 3D. But I'm not so certain how the game actually adjusts the difficulty, but this is the second easiest difficulty out of 4. So that should tell me how badly I suck in this. But what is interesting, or we'll say also awesome or funny about Duke 3D, and you could say also in build engine games in general, or at least quite many build engine games, is that they, in a sense, try to make basically in a sense, realistic locations, which is to say, Duke in this, for example, this stage happens to be a as far as oh yeah, Duke gets a shotgun, basic 3D shooter guns. Shotgun is very common weapon in that kind of context. But and this was when this game came out. There being a real mirror, a chance to see Duke himself was actually kind of. It was very novel thing, but this is you could say a little trick. Because if I remember right, I can just... Well, if you use the no clipping cheat, you can just go right through it, because that is not a room with a mirror. That's this same room, but in reversed with a unpassable wall made through it. So it's a real nice illusion of a mirror, very tricky, and that was a first. That was sign of toilet humor, which Duke Nukem 3D is quite infamous about having toilet humor in it. There's just so much. And of course Duke Nukem, and in addition to his massive fire gun, in addition to massive pistol and all that pistol, Duke's also got his mighty foot, or was it mighty boot, which he can then use to wipe out enemies. And of course you can then just put on the cinema show, and there's a very prominent hole in the wall with a pixelated babe over there. So Duke Nukem can partake in censorship. And there's a nuclear help and even more bazooka, just to really make it show that yep, this game's kinda unlike Doom. In this one you can actually go and shoot down walls. And this circular staircase was also a really big, impressive technical show of what build engine can do. It can go above this space. It's not just basically flat terrain of various heights as it would be in Doom. This one, it's got a real height.
Come get some.
And that was quite impressive piece of technical show off of what the build engine was able to do. Oh, does it hurt? Yeah, sometimes enemies just stay like that, and you can just. So it's going on. It's an arcade room again. And that's an arcade machine with a title screen of the first Duke Nukem game. So let's see what John St. John, which is to say Duke Nukem's voice actor, has to say about it.
Don't have time to play with myself.
Oh yeah. Although I would say that Duke Nukem most likely actually does play a lot with himself, because yep, I should have been a bit further away. Where might this hole lead up to? Oh yeah. There's plenty of this kind of interconnected locations in Duke Nukem 3D and inbuilt engine games in general. They were able to make a lot of spacing, much more real spaces with this game. And jetpack is also a very big and important piece of Duke Nukem 3D. It allows you to fly. And because it allows you to fly, you can do stuff like this. But of course, jetpack has a limited amount of fuel, which, well, I'm not saying it limits its usefulness, but it makes it so that you can't just go and fly over the spaces. And they even added hand animation to use the key card. And pickups. They are quite much iconic enemies of Duke Nukem 3D. And they even have a nice little tag of LARD in their chests. Not LAPD, but LARD, which is just, because they're pigs. Yeah, there's lots of visual pun and joke in it. And there's even added some turret guns to this game as well. Lots of all kinds of little annoying pests they added into this game. And once if enemy falls too high, it makes this nice, you can shoot him down and he makes this lovely little splatting sound of when he just falls to his timely demise. And there would also be a secret up there flashing about, because there's a turret flashing over there, which in the original this port makes light effects and all that kind of things a little bitty bit better, so it's quite simple. And now just looks like Duke can't actually exit the stage without violence, so let's just smash it. And yeah, got through the stage in about 10 minutes. 2 enemies left and 1 secret missed, which was up there.
Rockin'.
Yep. And interestingly enough, when they... And that was also a quite interesting little piece of player training, is that you have to know how to duck in this game, because Doom guy doesn't know how to duck, at least in the Doom engine he doesn't know how to duck. Duke Nukem does know how to duck. Build engine made it possible to duck. And pickups fly around in these flying bot things or whatever they are. But they were not that really, you could say, dangerous or powerful in that kind of sense. But I do like this kind of you could say more humorous, quasi-realistic setting that Duke 3D really made show that, which I think might have been the reason why Duke 3D was a quite massive success as a game. Yeah, and there was even a little button puzzle of press them in proper order kind of thing to actually get through this, but Duke doesn't look too good. And I do know that this game was already had been ported into had a port on PlayStation 1 as well, but it wasn't well, you can say that, and it wasn't censored. It had all the crazy nudity and all that, but because Nintendo 64 also had a port of this game, but it was but that port lacked kind of, you could say, and I was killed. But that should show a lot about what kind of game Duke Nukem 3D is. It's loud and it's dumb and it's violent and it's good fun. That was a little bit of summary. Piece of 3D game shooter history. See you in next one, if ever. As an interesting little detail of this port, you can just press a button and it makes it look like completely original Duke Nukem 3D. Or then you just switch back to the remake, which has more lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Come get some.
Personally, it really doesn't matter because the enemy sprites still are the same. It still uses the same engine tricks and all that.
Shake it, baby.
Well, she doesn't. Well, but LARD can't stop Duke Nukem. But and also, I would say that Duke Nukem with 3D was also, I might say, one of the first games to actually, in a sense, have this kind of adult themes or locations. Seeing that the game started in. Well, let's just make use of the chain gun. Although sometimes it was known as a Ripper gun. And Duke's got a quite regular, you could say, arsenal of 3D shooter weaponry. And Duke's in a bad shape. But I can of course always make use of the flying of the medikit. Oh yeah.
Shake it, baby.
Yeah, she's got pasties. But you could say that this would be quite a yeah, as atomic hearts. And I would say that, well, Duke Nukem 3D, I don't think it is much of a, you could say, well, Duke 3D was a massive success, there's no denying that. What just wiped me out? An enemy. But hey, Duke Nukem, great game, even though it might be quite challenging to those who are not so familiar with it. So, but still, ending this episode truly